Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. Thank you for subscribing, watching. Please give me a like. So this is my epic fail at a 3D nail. It's a huge trend at the minute. Everyone's doing it. I've watched videos. I've seen Kirsty Meakin do it. I've seen Kylie Werry do it, and I've been planning to do it all week on my mum. So she's gone way over 4 weeks. She'd lost one nail, so we replaced the tip on that. So I've taken her old design down, mainly because we're doing her new set for Christmas, as with most of my clients at the minute. So this is, I'm going to explain what I'm doing and why it didn't work. So this is the nail bed. So I'm coming in with that first bead. I'm getting it blended back at the back. I am then using the tip of my brush to shape that, and I'm getting the wall all the way around that acrylic even. You want a nice high wall because you're going to be putting that colour. So everybody I've seen do it has done it mainly with gel polish, and I thought, I'll be clever. I'm going to do it with acrylic. I'm going to bang out a Kylie Werry set, and they're going to look amazeballs, and everyone is going to go, oh my god, you're so amazing. Do you know what happened? It was a fail. It did not work. So I'll explain why it didn't work. So I get that nail bed done. I get it nice and high because it's fine. I've got an e-file. I can file it down later, but I want that nail bed all the way around, beautifully done. Job done. So we're going to leave it to set. I'm then using 2 different colours to do the 3D. So the first of those colours is this one, which I think, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a CJP colour obviously, and I've just used it on this middle finger as a base. We are then coming in with Cadbury Purple, which is a beautiful fine glitter by Tracy Lou. My mum has never had purple nails, and she loved this glitter, and she also loved the next glitter I'm using. So I'm using this glitter for my base, just to make sure we cover that previous colour design on there, because I couldn't take her nails down anymore. Now my mum does have a couple of issues with her hand. She's got osteoarthritis. She's got a whitlow, a previous whitlow on one finger, which causes it to be quite difficult. So we have a lot of problems, but we also took them from a stiletto to a ballerina. So yeah, that forefinger, you can see there, had a whitlow, so her nail bed is quite short on that finger. So anyway, we're then coming in with Hot Mess from Tracy Lou. Beautiful glitter, absolutely stunning. So we're putting that over the top of the Cadbury Purple. We're going to leave it to set, because you all know if you put that clear on now, it will pull all that glitter down that nail and you'll lose it. But stunning glitter, absolutely beautiful. Now the reason I decided to do the 3D nail in acrylic was because I didn't have the gel polish colour. Big mistake. So I come in, I file around that nail bed. I am pushing up against that nail bed. I am not pushing down, not putting pressure on that tip, because you will hurt your client if you do that. So we're getting that nice and smooth. We're making sure it's even all the way around, because the trick apparently to doing these 3D nails is that you have the rise and fall. So the rise is where you put that colour on that wall of acrylic, and then the fall is where it falls onto the bed of the rest of the nail. So I try to do it with acrylic. So here we go, wet bead, because I've got to paint it on, you need to keep it thin. So I put that bead in the middle, and then I tap it round. You'll see better when we do the other side. And I'm pressing it right up against that wall so that we've got a thin coating. As I'm doing that, I'm also trying to make sure that I've got it on the nail. Can you see what I mean? So get one side done, but because I'm working wet to do that, the colour's not as opaque as I'd like it. So then I put more on, and that was the first mistake. Too much product, too thick. Anyway, didn't know this at this point, so we keep merrily on, and I did promise you all that I would leave in my mistakes. So this is the first one. So you'll see on this side, I'm getting that acrylic and we're putting it against that side look, and I'm pushing it up against that wall of that nude nail bed colour. And then I'm sort of pushing it onto the nail tip to give that fall. So that is what will give you that 3D effect later. Once we've built that, the principle then is you do a layer of clear, and you then mould that clear to follow the smile line you've already done with the nude. Obviously, if you're doing this with gel polish, it's a lot easier because you can do it thin, you can paint it on, a lot easier. So my first mistake is too wet, too thick. So what I mean, just piling it on to get that colour. My second mistake was using the dark purple for my next colour, because the shadow effect gets lost with the black, which is what Kylie Werry pointed out to me, because I did tag her in these. So learn from that mistake. It's easier to do it with clearer colours. But yeah, shouldn't have done it with acrylic. I should have done it with gel polish. It would have given a better effect. So don't do it this way. It won't work. It doesn't work. I have seen a couple of techs do it with acrylic, and it did work for them. It's obviously past my skill level. And to be honest, this is a very difficult nail trim to do. And the reason I wanted to try this is because the other one, which is bubble nails, I don't like. You know, I just don't like. It looks nice, but I don't like it personally. So I didn't want to try that. So I just thought, you know, poor old mum. She's waited all week to have her nails done because she had to wait until I wasn't busy. And then I don't work as fast when I'm doing my mum's nails or my family's nails, and it's out of hours. So, you know, we take a few breaks. We stopped to have dinner halfway through, you know, and then it doesn't work. So the principle is that you would do this bit, that would set, you will then leave it, go and do the other nails, come back, you will then file that clear again, and you would then add your next colour on. So I moved on to doing the other fingers. I haven't left them all in. Basically, the other 3 fingers were just purple, just this plain purple. Midnight Purple, that's it. The colour is Midnight Purple by CJP. So the whole time I'm doing these, I'm sitting there going to Mum, I hope this works. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work if it doesn't work. And yeah, so not great. But anyway, just playing and building that colour up. I found this colour a little bit more difficult to work with, but I don't know if it's because I'm working a bit too wet. I probably need to spend an afternoon just doing my bead pickup again. It is worthwhile going back and having afternoons where you just do that, because especially when it's cooler, when it changes season, it gets a bit colder. So if you're working wetter, it runs a lot more because it's cold. So it's worthwhile revisiting. I do have a lovely practice sheet that I was given on a course, so might spend a bit of time just doing my bead pickup again. So then doing the forefinger, I don't think I left the thumb in on this, so just doing that forefinger. So this is the one that my mum had the Whitlow on. So it's a few years ago, but it's basically damaged her nail bed, so she's got a very short nail bed. But I popped a Tracy Lou tip on there and just decided to you know, build it out a bit. But this is quite simple for my mum. She normally has a lot more detail on her nails than this. But because I did that ring finger, I wanted to keep the rest of them a little bit simpler to make it easier for me. So just building that colour up, taking forever. So bloody annoyed with myself, and I know we're quite hard on ourselves, and I know overall this set, you know, it could have been worse. But that one finger really disappointed me because I've been looking forward to it all week, and it just went horribly wrong. In fairness, the lovely Kylie Werry came back and said, you know, it's not a fail, beautiful set, the colours are lovely, you know, it is a hard technique, it does take practice, and she did say that her first attempt was wank. So if you watch Kylie Werry, you know how down to earth she is. My first attempt is wank too, has to be said. So I could have left it out, I could have not posted this video up, and no, that's not the point. The point was to show you guys that sometimes things go wrong, sometimes things don't work. Don't give up, just work with it, it's fine. At the end of the day, my mum was really happy, and that's the main thing. If your client is happy with what you do. So in this process, what you should be doing is filing this smile line in, just like you did with the previous one, and you get that nice and straight, and then you come in with your third colour and do the same again. As you will see, because I used a dark colour, you cannot see it anyway, and to be honest, I don't think it would have made any difference if it had been a lighter colour. I literally worked too much product. I needed less colour, more clear, to get that 3D effect. So this didn't work. Am I going to attempt this again? Absolutely. I'm planning to get my videos up. The problem I've got is because it's such a lengthy thing, and because it needs to be on someone that's not going to be too cross if it doesn't go right. So I've either got to do it on myself, or I'm going to have to wait for a family member who is willing to let me attempt it and won't be too cross when it goes wrong. But I will do it next time. I'm going to re-watch the videos that I've seen, have another go. I'm going to do it with gel polish. You could potentially use paint, acrylic paints, gel paints, you know, something like that. You need something thin, I think. So I will give it another attempt, just not today. And probably not this week, but I will at some point. So the principle would be, you would put this colour on, you'd then do your clear cap, and yes, it looks monstrous, but you then file it in. On another note, the colours together went beautifully. Love them. So I used Midnight Purple for the purple, and tried to think what the blue is. Blue Hue from CJP. It's a lilac-y blue colour. It's beautiful. Did finish these nails with some gems, which came out of a random gem pot, but used pearl. Pearls are going to be big apparently. That's the new up and coming trend. So I put a couple of coloured gems and a gold ringed pearl, and then a split pearl on its own, just for decoration. So this is the bit where, if you've done this right, it goes beautifully. This is where you would see your 3D. And I start filing this and I realise it's not effing 3D at all. Not in the slightest. So all I've done is a purely executed French. That's it. So yeah, disappointed. Very disappointed. But you know, like I said, Mum was happy with them. You know, and that's the main thing. You've got to remember that clients, whoever it is, don't view things the same way we do, so they don't always see these things. But for me, it was a massive fail. Absolutely gutted. So to commiserate, I went upstairs, I posted that it was a fail. So this is what I'm calling this video. This is my 3D French fail now. And I had sticky toffee pudding and custard and some chocolate, because, you know, had to be done. Sorry for going out shot. I have done a video today of my niece's nails, and a couple of good mistakes on that one as well. So I'll be editing that later. Probably won't put it on till tomorrow though. Anyway. My mum's also one of those people that every time you let go of a nail, she has to point her hand up to look at what you're doing. Does it every time. So that makes it harder when you're editing, because you then have to stop it before you get to that bit, because otherwise it goes completely out of shot. So this is me hand filing. So for me, this is a lot of filing, you know. So definitely something that I need to practice. Have hinted very strongly to my husband that I would like a hand dolly hand for Christmas. Sent him a link, you know. Not that I get a lot of time to practice, but I do want to take part in some competitions this next year. So it's a lot easier for me to do that on a silicone hand, and I quite like that one. So there's me coming in with more filing, Just trying to smooth that out a little bit. You know, like I said, not the best application at all, in the slightest. But I wouldn't be being honest if I'd have cut it out. So, you know, I promised that I would be real about, you know, being a nail tech and how hard some of these things are. So that's what I'm doing. So again, went out of shot. So gutted. Still gutted. You see that she does that thing where she has to look. So she points her hand goes backwards. You know, almost at a 90-degree angle. she's a nightmare. Anyway, I then move on to filing the rest of the nails. I haven't left all of the filing in, but it's my usual filing routine. The rest of the nails, you know, I was happy with. The shaping I was quite happy with, considering we'd taken these from a stiletto, because it's always difficult when you're going from one shape to another and it's not right from the beginning. I tend to prefer to reshape on a new set, you know, rather than reshape, just do a new set because it's easier. But so just using my buffer there. So wiping the nails over, I give them a top coat. Well, we stuck the gems on first. Good thing about your gems, when you put your gems on, I use CJP's gripper glue, tiny dot, get your gem on, make sure they're dry before you put your top coat on, and top coat up to and around those gems. Mum hadn't had her nails done for over 4 weeks and she'd lost one of her previous gems. The others were still all on, and I used a pair of old cuticle nippers. That's me explaining to Mother it's not 3D, Mum. It's not 3D. It's not fucking 3D. Anyway. Yeah, buff over, top coat. So gems first, top coat. And then into that for 60 seconds, bring them out, let them cool down, cuticle oil, photo. And that is the finished set. So that is my 3D French fail nail. Over and out, guys. Over and out.